this show isn't about the death of Matthew Shepard. It's about the effects of it and the aftermath of it and how it started a worldwide movement. So through that, I guess it is about the death, but it's not about the actual moment itself. It's about everything that came after that and that we're still fighting for today.
I didn't know a whole lot about the Laramie Project before this. I knew of Matthew Shepard, I knew of what happened, but learning about like the details of what happened and things that are still happening today and how it's relevant has kind of made me a little scared, because like being part of the community is like, it's real, it's scary, and like it's something that like I've realized can be somewhat dangerous even if you're in an accepting environment.
After like I got to like know these characters, I like really feel connected to it as like a actor, and I want to be able to tell this story correctly and inform others about this story.
And the Laramie Project is like a documentary style theater, and so it's a type of theater. We're using real words from real people, and so that's something too that's, I think, interesting for audience members to almost see like a reflection of our world.
This show is unlike any show that I've ever done and unlike any show that the cast has ever done. And so just using this show as the opportunity to have that discussion and to demand that change, I think is something that's really necessary, and it can be really, really powerful.
It's kind of one of those timeless stories, unfortunately, where like there will always be discrimination, there will always be hate in the world, and like on the flip side, we will always need to say like that is wrong. You need to support everybody no matter what, because we're all human.
We've all learned together that like even though this is a very serious show, to still like find joy in rehearsing it and not constantly going into rehearsal being like this is a very somber show, but in still being able to have that joy when rehearsing and still knowing like all the context and weight that comes with the show.
I've definitely learned a lot about how to be a good ally, because I'm not part of the LGBTQ community, but I have friends, I have a lot of friends that are, plus I have learned how to be a good Christian ally, specifically because I am a Christian, I'm a Catholic, and I have learned how to balance the Catholic beliefs with the LGBTQ rights and community.
We had a Zoom meeting at the beginning of the rehearsal process where we talked with Dennis Shepard, Matthew's father, and during it he said, you can change the identity of this person and it's still the same show. Hatred just needs to be erased for all communities because these things happen to so many of them.
And like that's something that we all have in common, being part of a minority, is like being discriminated against. Unfortunately, that's just the case. Like looking at that, like I see how much each individual student can resonate with what is part of the Laramie Project and why it's so important. Even if you don't agree with it, like look at the other side of it and look at it from a different perspective.
I think it's really important for people to come here and see what their peers have experienced, but also to get a sense of hope. It doesn't have to be like this.
I feel like it's important for today's student audience to come see it, because even though at our school we are generally very accepting of things such as LGBTQ and like students who identify as that, there are still, even if it's unconscious things that some kids will do or say, that for like some kids they don't, like you don't know how to respond to it, because if you try then they're like, oh, it's just a joke, but a lot of it isn't a joke and it carries things. That is something that happens, and that is something that people do fear.
I think it's a show that the entire community should see, honestly, not because like we want to fill up seats in the house or anything, but because it's such a giant message, and it just shows how it's so much bigger than a high school show. It's an incredible experience for the cast and crew involved. It's a discussion that needs to be had in the community, and it's a demand for hatred to be erased.
I hope that the students take away the sense that they can help to make the world a better place. And I hope they take away that, like, most of us here are in their corner. We want to help everybody. I want all of our kids to feel safe. I want all of our kids to feel like they can be who they are and they'll be accepted. And one of the things that, like, Dennis Shepard had said is, like, it's not just tolerance, it's acceptance.
I think one amazing thing that can come from the show is to spread awareness, because I think people think that, oh, because laws have been passed and since then gay marriage has been legalized, it seems like so much progress has been made. And not to negate any of that progress, because there has been so much progress, in some ways it seems like nothing's changed. And I feel like people can watch this show and think about what happened 25 years ago, and they can connect it to now, and they can realize, wow, this kind of thing is still happening, and we as a society need to do something about that.
By doing all you can as an individual to practice erasing hate, that will lead to a better community. If every single person leaves that show just doing a little more or going a little extra mile for those who might not be able to help themselves, then that is so powerful and can change lives.
I think it's important for people to come and see that there is a way to fight this kind of prejudice and hatred in a way that is hopeful and in a way that is possible.